In this video, we will see how to generate story data in MIDAS nGen. Firstly, let us discuss why we need the story data. In MIDAS nGen, the lateral loads like seismic and wind loads can be auto-calculated as per selected standard. While calculating the lateral loads, the story information such as the height of the story, the width of the story, diaphragm application on the story is required. With the help of height and width of the story, the pressure calculated is applied on the area to get the lateral load wind forces. With the help of story diaphragms, the lateral loads can be applied at the center of diaphragm when it comes to a rigid diaphragm, and when it comes to a semi-rigid diaphragm, lateral loads are distributed to all nodes or at nodes of vertical members in case of seismic loads and wind loads respectively. These lateral loads also require information at every floor such as accidental eccentricity and torsional amplification factors. Before we define story data, we need to create a story set to which the story data belongs to. The story set can be defined from the Define tab, Story Set Control. This story set is important when we have multi-towered structure. Each tower can be in a separate story set. With this, we can get the story set results like story drifts, story deflection, story shears, etc. distinctly for every tower. We can also define the story set when we go directly to Structure tab to define the story data. Story Set Control box pops up. It is important to know that story data can be defined only in 3D mode. For a single tower, we shall add a story set and click on OK. Let us now see how to define story data with respect to different methods of modeling the structure. Accordingly, we shall use functions in the story data dialog box. Method 1, in which we are going to be using architectural plans for tracing members, or let's say a scenario when there is no existing frame structure in our model yet. In this case, simply provide entire building information by clicking on Add New Story. Provide the numbers, let's say 10 numbers of stories. Provide floor-to-floor height of every story, let's say 4 meters, and then click on OK. We can further add more stories by clicking on Add New Story. Here, we can provide the number of additional stories, let's say 1. We can insert our new story below this Insert Floor level. Now, we can choose to replicate the story height of one of the existing stories by clicking here in this way, or we can replicate the story height of the story below the insert level. We select insert level 10F and 9F can be replicated. This option here is to change the names of the upper stories starting from 1F. It's better to uncheck this and click on OK. So below the 10F story level, we have got replicated 9F story levels, so the name has become 9F copied. This story name can be further modified to, let's say, 9-1F. We can also modify the story height from here. So let's say this 9-1F has got story height of 2 meters. By changing the height over here, the height of the vertical members will accordingly be adjusted. In the CAD drawing column, we can assign the architectural tracing plan to any story level. For example, we firstly import the tracing file from here, and then we get our tracing files that can be put up at the levels as per our requirement. This tracing file can also be inserted at a distance from the story level in the drawing level column. To finish the story data information, we can click on OK and continue. Now let's look at method 2 of modeling. This building could be modeled using 3D drawing file import or 3D gridline method or by directly using sketching tools. Let's say it is a scenario of an existing framed structure. In this case, we can go to the structure, story data, define the story set control. Okay. And then we can click on auto generate story data. We can select the entire structure and click on OK. Our story definition has been completed. So we can click on OK to finish our definition. Accordingly, we will see the story data information right over here. To see the story data information on our screen, we can click on View Control and check on Story Set Label. This case was for a single towered building. But when it comes to a multi-towered structure, such as this one, then we need to firstly define story set. So under the Define tab, we'll go for the story set and firstly define a base story set until our podium level. We'll click on Add and click on OK. Now we go to the Structure tab and define story data. We select the story set as base and we click on Auto Generate Story Data. Here we need to select all the members lying in the base set as our base story set, and then we'll click on OK. Now let us go to this definition of story set by clicking on this 3 dotted box and define T1 and T2 story sets for our Tower 1 and Tower 2. This story set are having a base below it, and that base set is nothing but the base story set that we defined earlier. The last of the story is to be selected over here and click on Add. Similarly, we will make a Tower 2 story set and have the base set and click on Add. After this, we'll click on OK. And now let us auto-generate the story data from our structure by selecting the story set one by one. So we select T1 story set, then we click on auto-generate story data. We'll go to the front view and let's say this is the Tower 1. Selecting these members, we'll click on OK. Let's select T2 story set and click on Auto Generate Story Data. Select the Tower 2 members and click on OK. That's it. We are done with the definition for the story data for multi-towered structure. Now let us see some editing tools in a story data. Copy. This one can copy an entire existing story from levels selected. Copy can take place when the floor height of the story replicated is similar to the new story. For example, we would like to copy T2 4F level at T2 7F level. So we will select the top story as 7F and 7F as the bottom story, so that only at one story the replicated story will be copied. We see over here that the T2 4F level height and the T2 7F level height is same. So this is what is required. The height has to be same for the copy to take place. So after we do the selection, we click on OK. As you can see over here that the same members, floor members of T4 level are copied at 7F level. Also, it is to be noticed that the software takes care of any geometry that already exists at the same location. So there were some vertical members that were not created because they were already available at that story level. Next, let's take a look at divide. This tool allows us to create a story in between two story levels without modifying the total height of the building. To divide, we need to provide the elevation from 0 meter level. For example, let's say we want to have a story in between 1F and 2F level at 2 meters above 1F level. So here we provide the story elevation of the new level, that will be 18 meters. And then we'll click on OK. So now at 18 meters we have got a new story. We'll name it as new. And to finish with this divide command, we need to click on OK. So as you can see over here, there is T2 new level generated in between 1F and 2F. Since there is no member at the T2 new level, we can see the information at the 0, coordinate in the X and Y direction. Now let us see further how to merge stories into one story. This could be useful when a story is to be deleted without modifying the total height of the building. For example, we want to merge story levels 2F and 1F as one. So we select from here these two levels and click on merge. And then we'll click on OK to see that the base 2F level is now merged with the base 1F level. Let us see how we can delete a story. By using this delete tool, we can simply, let's say we are in the T2 tower. We want to delete the 6th story level. So this 6th story level will be deleted by clicking over here. We can either delete the entire story along with the existing, as in the members in that particular story, or we can simply delete a story data. So if we use this delete existing structures, then we can see over here that the story height does get modified and the 6th floor level is gone. If we simply choose to delete the story data, for example the 7F story data, then we'll see that now the upper story until roof is T2 5F. So this particular story data is simply deleted. This is how we can define and edit story data in MIDAS nGen.